Hi, welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Chris.
And we're going to talk about specifically just kind of raising kids and gaming and how all that works together. Because, like, I've got two kids. Mine are 5. I have a pair of 5-year-olds, and that's fun. And you have kids.
I have one. She's 6.
See, I always say kids plural because...
I just have the one. Well, I'm basically a grown man-child as it is. Yeah. So, like... I'm shocked that I'm given as much freedom as I do as a 33-year-old because I'm basically a child at heart, if you will.
Yeah, and that's what we do.
That's right.
So like the first little bit, they're not supposed to have media and everything, and then like at a certain point, then they can play video games, but they're not good at them, and you don't want them to be frustrated. And like, how have you kind of approached that, or has it just been? You can watch me play, and I'll hand you the controller every once in a while.
It just kind of depends on like what resonates with my kiddo. I mean, we have the Wii U, which I think is probably the best family-friendly console. Yeah. And I say family-friendly because, you know, on like, you know, the Xbox or the PS4 or PC, you know, there's plenty of kid games that are friendly for kids or family, but they're almost specifically catered towards them. Whereas Nintendo has always kind of been, well, these are great for everyone. And
these are just good games.
These are just good games. I mean, I remember the most significant moment that I had was she picked up Mario Kart and it really resonated with her. So she's playing Mario Kart 8, and I keep wanting to, like, you know, help her, and my wife is like, no, let her figure it out. Yeah. Because she would hit a wall and she wouldn't turn. She would just run into the wall and she'd get frustrated. And she's like, I don't understand what's happening. And then within a week's time, she was able to like beat me legitimately without me letting her win. Yeah. She's beating me on races, which isn't super challenging to do because Mario Kart really favors if you're like last. It really kind of evens the scale, which I don't really understand professional Mario Kart players because like if you're first, like you're almost doomed to fail because every spiked shell is aiming for you.
Yeah, and there's like a whole there's a weird strategy to like being in third until 30 seconds before the.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that resonated with her. We have some Toys to Life characters right here in front of us. I mean, we collect a lot of the amiibos. Just the Wii U, man. It's just great. She loves Mario Maker. I mean, you know,
Mario Maker is one of my kids' favorites because they love to make levels and then be like, hey, Daddy, can you beat it? And the very first level that Nora made, it had like a bunch of coins and then a pipe just from the top of the level to the bottom, and I was like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
I can't get through there. And once I explained it, and that has never happened again.
Yeah,
because it was just like explaining to them, okay, I need to be able to get from here to here. Go for it.
Yeah.
And like sometimes we'll go into GameStop and they'll be like, you know, I'll be browsing through the games or whatever, and they'll be like, this demo has Mario. We got to make one. So they go over there, and they run, and they kind of collaborate together, and they make a level. And whether I beat it or not, that's something that we got to do together.
Yeah, the creative aspect, I mean, I think is huge, and I think that's the biggest kind of difference between, you know, our generation of growing up with games and this generation is that it's very user generated content. You know, my kiddo watches all kinds of Minecraft Let's Plays, and she doesn't really even play the game herself. She just loves watching Minecraft Let's Plays. Yep. So she loves the franchise, but she doesn't necessarily play it herself. But it's definitely, I mean, I'm not as creative like as that. Like, you know, I remember when the Tony Hawk games came out with like the Build a Park and stuff like that. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to play. You're the developer. I want to play your game.
You're professional.
You're a professional. Let me play your game. And it just never resonated with me. Like, I like creating in this function. Yeah. Whereas, you know, you make videos and we create content, but I don't like making that stuff. But kids do. They've moved from, you know, maybe like tangible physical creation into the digital realm where you know they're drawing and they're creating on tablets and they're building levels and they're making Mario levels and I think that's the biggest difference, and that's kind of how I approach it. It's just kind of whatever resonates with her. I did let her play some Assassin's Creed. Like, I play a lot of Assassin's Creed, so she loves that. So she likes to sit with me and like I'll climb up to the like one of the highest buildings and she's like, go there, and then we'll just travel together and I'll let her run. You know, I'm just like, here, just hold this trigger and press forward, and you know, Assassin's Creed is great like that. She doesn't really get into too many fights. I mean, if you're just running through the streets in an Assassin's Creed game, it's very much an E-rated game until you decide to start stabbing people.
Until you initiate the combat. And it's kind of like, I heard a story one time about a guy who was saying, yeah, I let my kid play Grand Theft Auto. And a bunch of people were like, I mean, obviously the internet was like, oh, we can't believe you did that. And he said, okay, if you're not doing the missions, if you're not shooting people, like his kid got into an ambulance and was driving around helping people to the hospital. That's how he played the game. And it's a lot of mature games is what we bring to it. And so, like you said, with Assassin's Creed, you can run through the city. You don't have to kill everyone. Yeah. And that's just kind of a thing. And that's my favorite thing about playing with them is because they bring a new perspective to the game. Yeah. And it's really fun to watch something through their eyes. And like you were talking about Minecraft earlier, one of the things that I'm really grateful for is I feel like some people, and not to judge you, but some people that kind of started gaming in the PS2, PS3 era, they get separated and they get disconnected from retro graphics and 8-bit graphics and whatever. And my kids are like, we play Sonic and we play Mega Man and we play, watch Minecraft or whatever. And it's like, for a while, graphics were all that mattered. It seemed like, and like it was, that game's ugly. I don't want to play that. And I think because retro graphics have come back, that it's easier to also introduce them to the classics. Yeah. And help them to understand like the history of video games. Like my girls love Sonic because you can run through there and like you're gonna get range, you lose them, but like you usually takes a little while to die because you run 5 steps and they give you another ring. Then you can get hit again. Yeah. And so that's fun. But like you were saying, like the creation thing is really a lot of fun. And then a couple of suggestions, because like the Wii U stuff, it's a lot easier to find. But like on Xbox and PS4, if you only have those consoles, I would recommend Peggle and anything by PopCap. I mean, I know that they kind of get a bad rap sometimes, but if you're buying it on console, you just get the game. You do, and like as a matter of fact, they have a 3-pack with Peggle, Zuma, and Plants vs. Zombies on the Xbox 360. So yeah, those games are really great. Peggle is like a really casual kind of fun puzzle games. Another suggestion is any of the Lego franchise, anything from Lego. Yeah. What stinks is like when I'm suggesting games to parents or something for their kids, and they're like, "Oh, well, we don't like Lego games." I'm like, "Well, that's like half my suggestions because there's so many of the Lego games." And I don't understand people who don't like the Lego games. They're amazing. Okay, we need to get one of those people on the podcast, sit them down and be like, okay, why? Why? What is wrong? I'm playing Lego Dimensions right now, and it's very much just at its core a Lego game. I mean, it's just like all the other ones, except and you get to unlock build real Legos. You build the real sets, but to unlock other characters, you have to buy them. Yeah. Which I'm a Lego fiend, and so is my kid. So and so is my wife. She feeds into it. So like I love it. Like it's super fun. I'm loving Lego Dimensions right now. Out of all the Toys to Life games, that's the one that's most tempting to me. Yeah. And then going back to other consoles and stuff is if you have a PlayStation, the games by that game company, Journey and Flower. Journey was actually the first game that my girls beat when they were like 4. Yeah. And I didn't realize this when I played it, but you can't actually lose. Right. Like there is no game over scenario, and as long as you keep going, you'll win. You play, and you play as the wind, which is kind of neat. In Flower. Yeah. And then in Journey, you can't you don't die either. And I mean, spoil, maybe you do. I don't know. That game's weird. Yeah. But yeah, and so they went in there, they explored, and then like you were talking about with the Lego games, they can run around and they can collect studs and feel like they're doing something, look for people to help, and like I have to be like, okay, you need to go help people, and be like, okay, because they just want to run around as Hulk and just collect everything. And, but yeah, like there are games that you can play with your kids. There are games that you can let them play, and those games are out there. And I encourage any of you who are balancing, being a parent and playing video games, to play with them, because it's really a special experience, and for me, it kind of opened my eyes and let me experience some of these games again.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and again, like I keep going back to this because I've been on a crazy Nintendo kick right now, but I can't reinforce enough like how much I'm loving the Wii U. It's a shame that it wasn't like supported as much. Because already they're in the talks of coming up with a successor. Because Nintendo is more about innovation than trying to stay ahead and compete with Xbox and with Microsoft and Sony. They're not really in the same realm. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, like something that you kind of were talking about earlier, as far as kids of this generation are seeing retro games and 8-bit graphics. It's a lot of like Shovel Knight. Like what's old is new again. Like it's
Shovel Knight is so great.
It's the newest retro game to come out. Like that's what it is. It has very much the feel of like all of those classic side scrollers, a mixture of Mega Man, a little bit of the DuckTales game, which was a lot of fun. But it's new, but it's kind of based with 8-bit kind of graphics and stuff like that. But I remember when the Wii U came out, Reggie Fils-Aimé even said, well, our fans don't really care about graphics. And a lot of people were up in arms about that statement, but kind of as time has shown, that was a really accurate statement because Nintendo is way more concerned about making like fun, just playable games. And there's a lot of resurgence, they just put the like Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. If you have a new Nintendo 3DS, that is the one stipulation, you have to have the new Nintendo 3DS. But they added SNES games to the Virtual Console, and but you have to have a new 3DS XL to play a lot of those. I don't know why that's the case. I know a lot of people were kind of upset about that.
There was a friend of mine online. He was talking about he'd purchased some of the Super Nintendo emulation, and he said that it ran a little bit janky, and so and I know that there were several games, and I think that's one of them, that they would like put a chip inside the cartridge itself to upgrade it, and so it's a little bit harder to run.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm sure it has to do with the processing power and stuff like that. But
and they're not going. Nintendo won't give you a game that doesn't work.
Right. But
thank you for that.
Yeah, no. Nintendo's solid like that. I mean, I was playing Pikmin 3, and that's probably the most graphically enhanced game on the Wii U. It's gorgeous, but like the environments look kind of real to life.
Yeah.
And they had to delay it for so long. The same with Star Fox, because I don't think Nintendo was used to making like these super great graphics. They're just more about innovation and just making unique
coming up with something that's fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, the NX is coming up. You guys stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that as soon as there's any kind of announcements from Nintendo. But I know that's going to be. I have a tendency of with me and my wife, like if it's Nintendo, we just buy it. Like we're just going to get it because we're going to play it eventually, and we don't. We normally don't even trade those ones in. We just kind of hold on to the Nintendo stuff, and we love it. We love it. Yeah. So Nintendo's great. It's a great place to go.
Yeah. So yeah, tell us what you're playing with your kids. What was your first kids game to beat, and how are you making sure that they understand how cool this guy is?
Yeah, man. And give us suggestions if you guys are playing something unique with your family, with your kids that maybe we haven't tried out. I mean, let us know. We want to give it a shot. So.
Thanks.
Sorry. Refill.
So make sure you cut that out, Patrick. That was less than professional. We just sat here and dead air.
Yeah, just all that dead air, yeah.
Ugh.